This episode brought to you by Harmony Shochu. It's Japanese tradition to drink shochu with friends. Be sure to pour gold medal Harmony Shochu and remember to pour it for others, not self. You can buy it online at www.dnm.com. Welcome to Common Man Cocktails. I'm your host, Derek Schomer, and today we're going to create the Collins. This is not the Tom Collins. There is a difference. We're going to be using Bols Genever, which is actually recently introduced to the United States. It's a, they called it, back in the day, they called it Dutch gin. It's really not gin at all. It's based on a malt wine. It's a little more than, I think more than 50%. It's like 60 or 70% malt wine. And it's got juniper berries. That's kind of what ties it to the gin. Genever was what they made in Holland back in the 16, 17, 1800s, around that time frame. I know it's a long time frame, but I'm foggy on the history. But they brought this, of course, people brought it into England, into the UK, and they didn't have exactly what they needed. They didn't have the right grains, so what they ended up doing is creating what we now know as gin, or London gin. And so this became separate, and it made its own product. This was probably, say, the grandparent of original gin, but it alone is its own recipe, and dating back to some of the original recipe books, anytime they called for Dutch gin, they were really talking about Genever. And I learned all this while I was at a launch party, because it just made it to the United States. They invited us to the launch party. It was a great time, and this was one of the drinks that they taught us how to make. They introduced it to us. It was the first thing we got to drink, and it doesn't taste like a Tom Collins, so start right there. And what we'll do is we're going to build this. It's going to be, of course, built in a Collins glass. It's going to use super rich simple syrup, which really translates to you do 2 parts of sugar to 1 part of water instead of 1 and 1. So it's going to be a little sweeter. We're going to use an ounce of lemon juice. We're going to top it with club soda. I think that's kind of more natural. We're going to use the Genever, the Bols Genever. This is really the only alcohol within here. And the trick, which we've never done before, and I don't know of anything I've done that has this, but we're going to double strain. So we're going to strain 2 different strainers, and that makes it more clear and gets rid of some of the finite particles from the lemon juice, because it's freshly squeezed. You want to stick with freshly squeezed. And it's all going to be shaken. So we're going to shake it up into this little guy here. Get some ice. There you go. And what we'll do is we'll just pour in 1 ounce of the lemon juice. We're going to garnish it, of course, with a lemon, because that makes it all the cooler. And we'll start with a 1/2 ounce of this rich, simple syrup. Definitely is rich. Rich and thick. And we'll do 2 ounces of the Genever. So if you're in the US now, you should be able to find the Genever. If you're in Holland, you'll find Genever. And it should be making its way across the world, if it's not there already. We might have been the last. I think Sydney might be maybe the last. So that's your base right there. You've got your Genever, you've got your lemon juice, and you've got your simple syrup. That's all we're going to need to shake. We don't need to shake the that stuff.
Club soda.
Club soda. I was buying time, but I couldn't do it. There you go. Let's get some. Where'd my Collins glass go? Holy crap. There you go. Where's my strainer? Get our Uber Bar Tool strainer here. Strain ray. Move that over. And then we'll double strain. Make sure you leave enough room for the club soda, but you should be okay if you have a standard sized Collins glass. And you do all the parts as we've mentioned here. Throw that on there. I'm going to really just jam that right in there. Have it floating. So there you go. Very white looking. That's really because there's not that much lemon juice compared to the rest of the ingredients. Well, I smell a lot of the club soda in there, so you got that going for you. There we go. Definitely very. You've got that malt. If it's hard to describe what a malt beverage like this. Malt could be Colt 45, but we're not near the Colt 45 realm. A brown ale might. You're gonna have that like a chocolatey essence. Nothing over the top chocolate. Not like a high cocoa count either. It's just a subtle amount of what you might interpret as a chocolate. That's the maltiness probably firing off on your neurons. There's very subtle juniper. If you're used to drinking like a Tanqueray or something, just pretend that never existed. This doesn't have that much juniper. Just a slight bit of juniper, just enough for you to know it was there. Overall, very easy to drink. No alcohol burn. There's a tad bit of alcohol in the back end, but just enough so you know that this is definitely an alcoholic beverage. I think it's 42%. But for 42%, considering vodka falls within that same realm, more like 40, you would expect there to be so much extra potent alcohols and ethanols, but you don't get that. You're getting that neat little malty play. It's something a little different. So if you're looking to go to the store and you're looking for a new brand, a new label, something new to try, you've got absinthe, we've got all these other new things we're trying. Try the Genever, the Bols Genever. You can't miss it. It's a very neat little bottle there. So there you go. That is the original Collins. If you want to see what Collins was like before it became a huge, big industry. Before the gin really trounced America. Once upon a time, this was what was imported, not gin. So there you go. This is the Collins. Bols Genever. I'm Derek Schomer. We're teaching you how to drink. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors. We've got Harmony Shochu. Harmony Smooth Shochu. If you've never had Shochu, it's like a vodka, except much more smooth, more nuances, half the percentage of alcohol, so you're not going to get that burning ethanol taste. You're going to get something you've probably never experienced before. If you've never experienced a shochu, or if you have but it hasn't been this brand is going to be a little smoother, a lot more top end. And now, if you consider what we did in this episode with the Genever, and you put this right beside it, not only are you going to look awesome and upper class for just being a common cocktailian, but you're going to be able to really expand your palate and try something new. I suggest you try it. There you go. Check them out at dnm.com. Thanks.